19th century American philosopher William James stated, "The deepest principle of human nature is the craving to be appreciated." According to a recent Gallup poll, 65% of employees said that they had received no recognition from their manager in the last year. People want to be noticed. After all, it's being recognized that motivates us to do more. So, you're a manager of some great and maybe a few not so great employees. Did you know that 47% of your high performers are looking to leave you right now? Here's a tip. Not all your high performers are fully engaged. Gallup found that world-class companies have 9 engaged employees to every disengaged employee, whereas the average U.S. company had only 2 engaged employees for every one that was just there for a paycheck. Net results, world-class companies experience 400% higher sales and profits. The cost of losing your best people is steep. I quit. If you figure employee training costs, hiring costs, and advertising costs, it all adds up. The cost of losing an employee is typically 1.5 times their first year's salary. So, how many employees did you lose last year? Use the myemployees.com handy cost analysis calculator to find out exactly what it cost you to lose your valuable employees. And more importantly, learn how you can fix it. So, what will motivate, engage, and keep your employees loyal to you? And in turn, get you and your top people promoted. In a word, recognition. Remember this, behavior that gets rewarded gets repeated. Zig Ziglar said, "You can have everything in life you want if you will just help other people get what they want." The bottom line, every employee loves being recognized. Our simple, cost-effective recognition program takes the guesswork out of how to consistently and effectively reward your employees. Do the numbers yourself and learn how much you'll save with our recognition program right now. myemployees.com. Employee engagement experts.
Hello, my name is Sharnice Jones, and I am presenting Chapter 13, Employee Separation and Retention Management, out of Mello's 4th edition of a Strategic Human Resource Management. I will briefly be discussing employee separation, types of separations, related workforce strategies, strategic approaches to retention, and I'll briefly be discussing retirement. Employee separation. There are several reasons for employee separations. Some that Mello indicate are a lack of commitment of employees and a company's pressure to fill relative. Regardless of the reasoning for the separation, there is a great deal of importance on managing these separations. The employee-employer relationships need to end smoothly. The company should not be affected, and professional relationships should remain intact. There are several types of separations. The 3 that I will be discussing are reductions in force, turnovers, and retirements. A reduction in force is a procedure used to terminate occupied employment positions caused by loss of funding, changes of work requirements, or the organization of a department or business operation. Some additional reasons may include inability to adapt to a changed market, inadequate operations, and a lack of competitive edge. Some methods used to deal with reductions include continuance pay and outsourcing. Whatever the reason, employers have a duty to warn employees about potential threats to their job. The Worker Adjustment Retraining and Notification Act of 1989 requires employers with more than 100 employees to provide affected employees with a minimum of 60 days written notice of any facility closing or large-scale layoffs of 50 or more employees. Government agencies are exempt to this act. So are companies who face unforeseeable circumstances, natural disasters, and some who are temporary facilities. Some strategies to prevent layoffs include freezing on hiring, cross-training employees for other jobs, offering early retirement incentives, volunteer leaves, pay cuts across the board, and loaning and subcontracting labor. Mello also discussed turnovers. There are 3 types of turnovers: An involuntary turnover, that's when employees are asked to leave the organization for a reason, such as poor performance, or due to circumstances that cause a reduction in force. There are voluntary turnovers, which is when employees leave an organization on their own. And there are beneficial turnovers. That's when low-performing employees depart, and new higher performing employees are promoted or hired as replacements. Whatever the reasons for turnovers, if not managed adequately, the company may become less productive. Additionally, high performers are hard to replace. Costs associated with turnovers continue to go up. Some strategies to manage turnover include picking the right people who fit the organization and have the skill level for the job, providing employees with growth potential through training, performance incentives, and designing organization-based retention strategies. Retirement. Retirement refers to a point where people stop working completely. There is the Age Discrimination Act of 1967 that prohibits an employer from setting a mandatory retirement age, except in certain occupations such as airline pilots. Though retirement can open up opportunities for younger employees, the company can lose years of experience and knowledge. With that being said, should retirement be mandatory? Some arguments suggest that there is an assumption that after a certain age, the elder may not be able to perform adequately. Some other reasons presented are that a mandatory retirement age allows for the elder to retire with dignity, not be monitored constantly for job performance, balances the pay scales between younger and older employees, and gives the company time to plan accordingly. And that is all, ladies and gents, for chapter 13. Thank you for allowing me to present.